Do people have more sex during the full moon? If you've ever wondered if the lunar cycle affects humans, then just look around next full moon. Aristotle once suggested that the brain was the moistest organ in the body and therefore most susceptible to the influences of the moon. Even today it's thought that a full moon has mystical powers that induces erratic behavior among humans and animals. In fact, studies suggest that the lunar cycle can even have an impact on fertility, menstruation and birth rate. But, does that mean that humans actually have more sex when the moon is full? While some strange human behaviors are often associated with the full moon, most are simply a myth. Yet, there are still some odd behaviors among certain species that science links to the lunar cycle. For instance, did you know that amphibians around the world synchronize their mating activity by the full moon? Apparently, this global phenomenon has gone largely unnoticed until now. Biologist Rachel Grant, for the BBC Earth News, suggests that frogs, toads and newts all like to mate by moonlight. And that's not all. Australian and Israeli scientists discovered that moonlight triggers the mass spawning of hard corals along Australia's Great Barrier Reef, according to National Geographic News. 1 week each year in spring, after a full moon, millions of corals release eggs and sperm. Until recently, it was a mystery as to how the brainless and eyeless primitive animals synchronize the mass spawning. But now, researchers reveal that they have isolated an ancient gene in the coral's DNA that can detect moonlight. It's just magical, said Bill Lagont, a James Cook University biologist. To just sit in front of an individual coral and watch the pink sperm bundles get slowly pushed out of the coral's mouth and float away, it's incredible to watch. So, what about human DNA? Is our DNA somehow linked to the lunar cycle, making us crave more sex on each full moon? There's no doubt about it, a full moon is just so darn romantic. But is it romantic enough to nudge humans into having more sex? Well, according to an article by Dr. Albert Barbanel, posted in Modern Mechanics, it is. Apparently primitive tribes conduct elaborate fertility rituals during a full moon. Abarbanel also wrote that the Botakudo tribe of East Africa worship the moon as the giver of virility to men and fertility to women. Botakudo brides even reveal themselves to the full moon and pray that they can sexually satisfy their man. Many African tribes, Eskimos in Alaska, people from Greenland and Australian Bushmen even believe that sexual intercourse under a full moon always results in pregnancy. And it very well might be true, since many people believe that more babies are conceived during a full moon. However, you'd be hard-pressed to find studies to back that claim. So, it's likely based on the personal experience of women. Nevertheless, as a preventative measure against pregnancy, the Bushmen apparently rub saliva on the stomachs of the women just before the period of a full moon. This, says Abarbanel, was supposed to prevent the stomach from swelling. If only it was so easy and Meanwhile, some cultures believe that the best time to conceive is during a crescent moon, that is if you're looking to conceive a baby girl. But, if you're hoping for a boy, then sex during a full moon might be the answer. Researchers conducting a study in India found that 42 women who conceived within 24 hours of ovulation during full moon gave birth to 40 male and 2 female babies. On the other hand, researchers found that 40 women who conceived on the day of ovulation, 3 days prior to a full moon, gave birth of 27 female babies and 13 male. Many people do believe that a full moon has the power to influence humans into having more sex, and even magical sex at that. This is likely because the new moon represents new beginnings. For anyone who believes in the magic of the moon, it's thought that making love during a new moon is even more magical with an intention in place. An intention is something you share with your partner. For instance, if you're looking for a new home, business, or hoping to start a family, your shared intention, under the new moon, can bring about powerful shifts towards achieving your desires to fruition. So, does all of this suggest that modern-day people have more sex under a full moon? I believe the answer is up for debate, since it's almost impossible to find solid science to back this question. Let's just say, for those who prefer sex during a full moon, it's likely a personal preference. And it makes sense that you might naturally gravitate towards having sex during this time. A full moon, after all, is mysterious, sexy and part of a rhythm observed in the natural world.